What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I'd love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video is going to be another exciting one. It's another race video, which I'm very excited for. I just came off the 5-borough bike tour about 2 weeks ago, and we're on to our next race, which is the Brooklyn Half Marathon, put on by the New York Road Runners Club, the RBC Half Marathon. I'm so excited. It is tomorrow, Saturday, May 18th, 2024, and I thought I would kick off the video here because tomorrow morning is going to be quite hectic. So I already picked up my bib. The bib pickup was in Brooklyn, and I went Wednesday because I was already in the area. That was the first day that we could pick up the bibs, and I got mine right here. I also took a little bit of footage that I will insert here. It is Wednesday, and I was close by for work, so I figured I would stop and pick up my bib now. And it's raining, which I feel like is going to be the theme of this race. This was quite the hike down. We do have a nice view of Manhattan though, if it wasn't so dreary out. To be fair, it is midday, but not very crowded, which is good. Hopefully bib pickup is fast. No lines, yay. This is such a cute shirt. Wow, the merch is actually kind of good. Well, I did not see anything free, but at least pickup was fast. I think a big part of it is that I went like Wednesday during the day, but yeah, not a ton happening. I thought that there would kind of be like more booths giving out stuff because I feel like there usually is at these like bib pickup party things. But you know, we got the bib, we got out, it was efficient, and I'm very excited for tomorrow. The weather forecast is definitely not ideal. It's been going in between like super rainy versus just moderately rainy. Right now, I think there's about like 40% chance of rain throughout the whole thing. I definitely think it'll be like showers on and off. And the temperature when I start, which is 7 a.m., is high 50s, and it stays in high 50s until past 9 a.m. So that is the weather that we're looking at this whole time. I will see tomorrow when I wake up how I'm feeling, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wear a long sleeve Swiftly and then just leggings and hope that that's enough. I definitely don't want to wear a rain jacket because I get very hot very fast, so that will just like overheat me. And I'm thinking if I want to wear a hat or not, because the hat I also feel like overheats me, but if it's raining really hard, that could give me some protection. So we'll see what the forecast is looking like tomorrow morning. But I do live on the Upper East Side, and this race starts in Prospect Park in Brooklyn and goes to Coney Island, which I'm really excited about. It should be a really fun run, and this is my first race that's running in New York, so I'm excited to give it a try and see how I do. But my plan is to wake up at 5 a.m. I live in the Upper East Side, so if I want to be there around like 6:20, 6:30, I need to leave here by like 5:35-ish. Take the subway, thankfully it's a pretty direct route, and then be at Prospect Park. So that's why I'm doing my little intro now, because tomorrow morning it's going to be hectic. Definitely gonna have to like get up and get moving in the morning. I am gonna lay out everything that I have the night before so that it's an easy morning, but I pretty much am just bringing my clothes, and then I'm packing 2 GU energy gels. I use these for my full LA marathon, and I really like them, so I feel like 2 should be enough. My plan is to take 1 at the 5-mile mark and then 1 at the 10-mile mark, and then I'll also eat and drink coffee before I even go to the event. So I should be fueled pretty well for a 13-mile run. And then I also have tape because I do tape the sides of my feet. Otherwise, if I run like more than 10 miles, I get really bad blisters, really bad blood blisters, but I really, really like this tape. It's just called KT Performance Tape. I think I got it at CVS, and highly, highly recommend if you have blisters. So I think those are like my only 2 special things. Tomorrow morning, I plan on having a bagel with peanut butter to, you know, get some meat on the bones, get ready to run, and have a coffee to wake me up. And I don't have a super specific goal time. When I last ran a half marathon, it was quite a while ago. I believe I got around an hour and 50 minutes, maybe a little bit more than that. So I would like to get around an hour and 50 minutes again, but we'll see. I definitely have been like training for this, but very loosely. I definitely did not have a training plan as strict as when I was running the LA marathon. I feel like I really committed to that. This, I have done the appropriate long runs. Like I have ran a half marathon in training for this half marathon, so I know everything should go well. But this event is going to be crowded. I've never been on this course before. The weather is not going to be great. So, you know, giving myself a little bit of grace, but I am in Wave 1 Corral H. It is nice because when you sign up for this race, you could say your expected finish time. I put an hour and 50 minutes. And since I don't have like any kind of past New York running experience, they trust when I say an hour and 50 minutes and put me in the corral that has the hour and 50 minute pacer. So I think my goal going into this is to run with the pacer. And then if I feel like I can go faster, kind of speed up at the end. But we'll see how that goes. I feel like race day is so hectic that there's always like last minute decisions to be made. So that is pretty much the plan for tomorrow. I hope everything runs smoothly, and I will see you tomorrow morning when we're ready to run. Also, this is the design of the shirt that we got. I like the design. I will say that I'm between a small and medium. I feel like I can never figure out what size to get, and I got a small, and I feel like it's a little small. Coffee of the morning. Good morning. It is 5 a.m. and a small miracle happened while I was sleeping last night because literally all of the rain has now dropped from the forecast for this race. So I'm very excited. I hope it's actually true and the weather app is not lying to me because that'll make this race such a nicer race. But we're gonna eat this bagel with some peanut butter and then get ready to head out. There were some last minute wardrobe changes. I'm really committing to this new weather, so it better not rain on me. It's gonna be high 50s, like 60 degrees when I finish, so I think a long sleeve will be too hot for me. I think the short sleeve's the way to go. We'll see, but I definitely run very hot when I run. So we got a black short sleeve Swiftly. I love Swiftlys to run. I wish I had a brighter color, but alas I don't, so this is what we're working with. It's a little bit of a black outfit. Maven thread headband, I swear by these. Again, I'm hot, so I'm sweaty. This catches literally all my sweat, which is much needed. Invigorate Lululemon leggings. We got some pockets for my phone. My feet are taped up and I have Bombas socks on, which are my all-time favorite running sock. And then my shoes of the day are these New Balance. Those are my newest pair that have the least amount of miles on them. So it's race day, we're wearing the good ones, but pretty much got to put my shoes on and then we are heading to the subway. Walking to the subway. The short sleeve was definitely the move. It's really nice out right now. Feeling very good about this run. But now I need to do a 30-minute subway, so let's go. It's 6:20. You're supposed to be there at 6, but I didn't want to get there that early. But now we're kind of pushing our luck here because we got to go through security. But the good news is there is a ton of people on my train that are in this half marathon, so we're all very late. Time to see if there's enough time for bathrooms. It's like 6:40.
So much so that I still have
6:43, we're ready to go. Plenty of time.
And the Rockets red flag.
Brooklyn brings the ball. Team Osprey, we love Team Osprey.
5 miles in, gel and water. Mile 10, second gel. I'm getting very tired. Almost done. We finished. Oh my gosh, that was hard. Medal time. She's a beauty. It's actually a cool medal. You get a little goodie bag. That's nice. I'm ready to crush this Gatorade. So Chris had like mega subway issues, so he missed my finish. but he should be here soon. There's very, very limited internet here, so hopefully we can meet up because it's very crowded. So we'll see. I texted him to meet me at like a specific set of bleachers, so hopefully he'll be here soon. Chris has arrived. We just took a bunch of pictures and now we're ready to bounce out of here. Time to take the queue home. Hopefully it's faster home than it was here. I don't know what, it took you like 2 hours.
Yeah, over 2 hours to get here.
Yeah, sad. It should only take like hour 10, so we'll see how long it takes to get home, but I'm ready to go home. This stadium is like a nice post-race place, though. It's pretty big. Nice to sit down on the field while I was waiting for Chris. Lots of photo opportunities. Nathan's getting some good business at, 10 a.m. Not sure I need a hot dog at 10 a.m. after running a marathon, but whatever makes people happy. It is now the next day. We have recovered from the half marathon. My legs are still a little bit sore, but I'm feeling good, and I thought I would just briefly reflect on the race because I feel like race day is always so hectic. Talk about, how my race went, and then also give a couple tips if you're going to be running the Brooklyn Half in the future. I have advice. So first off, I was in wave 1, so my start time was supposed to be 7 a.m. and they tell you an email to come by 6 a.m. and I'm like, that's just way too early. I understand it's a lot of runners, there's a lot of security, but I do not want to be standing around for an hour after I get there before I run, plus I want to sleep in. So I had always planned to get there around 6:20, 6:30. I have to take the queue. That's my only subway line to get there. And the queue is very unpredictable on the weekends and it only runs every 20-ish minutes. So I definitely got there a little bit later than I thought it would be. I got off the queue, I think around 6:30. And then it was probably a 5 to 10 minute walk to get to the specific road I was supposed to go to. You are split onto 2 different roads depending on your corral in your wave. All the people, I believe in A through F corrals, were on a different street lining up, and then we were lining up on the street that they told us to line up on. So I think G was the leader of ours and I was in corral H. So I got there probably around 6:35 a.m. Security was super fast. They definitely, had it down pat. You walk through. You shouldn't have a lot. There was bag check. Unfortunately, Chris was coming, so I knew I didn't need bag check. So if you have bag check, keep that in mind that you should have more time. They claimed that bag check closed at 6:20. I don't know if that's true. I just walked by, went through security, got to my corral by 6:40. When you walk in, there was a ton of porta potties and very, very long lines for the porta potties. But somebody is oh, there's also porta potties in your corral. And on the sheet that they gave us, they said corrals closed at 6:50. So I'm okay, I'd rather get to my corral, go to the bathroom there because, we still have time to kill. If I get there at 6:40 and I have to wait in a 20-minute line, it's still okay. But the lines were way shorter in your corrals. So definitely recommend just going to your corral. Went to the bathroom by 6:42, I was ready. So honestly, I feel I could arrive even later next time. I really am not a big standing around person. Maybe people find that to hype you up and see all these people, but for me, I don't want to stand around. And then the added bonus of this was that all of the corrals ahead of you have to go first. So the people in corral A start at 7 a.m. By the time that I went over the start line, it was around 7:15 a.m. So that's something else to keep in mind. Obviously you want to be in your place by 7 a.m. I don't know if they'd actually close you off from getting in your corrals. If it was after 6:50, I kind of think that they want it, but yeah, definitely a lot of standing around, so just be prepared. So we were off at 7:15 a.m., feeling good. Basically, this route is just a loop of Prospect Park and then a straightaway to Coney Island. And I really did not study the route map, and that's on me. I looked at the elevation and it looked like it was mostly downhill, and I was just cool. But I thought that the route was fine. My biggest thing with Prospect Park is the streets were not super wide. They weren't narrow, but there are a lot of people running this race. And there were a lot of turns or bends in Prospect Park. And my biggest issue with that is that basically the slowest people were running really tight to the curb. So you could either run faster, but then you're running a longer distance, or you can run slower and then run a shorter distance because you're in the curb. But I mostly just stayed to the outside. I like really don't like to be running in like a closed up pack. It did feel crowded in Prospect Park to me, but I think that that's because I was not following the pace group. So I had lined up with the hour 50-minute pace group, and my plan was kind of to follow them, but then right away we start and it's downhill. And I know that experienced runners like don't go faster downhill, but I'm just like, I do not want to run slow right now. Especially at the beginning, I have so much energy. Like I definitely had a fast time coming out. And this was a problem in the last half marathon I ran, and honestly, like the last marathon. I mean, I think this is a problem that a lot of people have where you start off faster and get slower. And I figured that that would happen this race. I did want to try to combat it more in my first half marathon. I was really bad where my starting miles were like 7:30 and my ending miles were like 9:30. I definitely wanted an improvement to that, but I also acknowledged that like I did not train enough to run a perfectly paced like run unless if I stuck with the pacer group. But with the downhill, I was like, I don't want to stick. So I definitely was like passing people, but then they passed me later. So it just depends like what kind of race you like to run. But the first 5 miles were good, like no real complaints, get into the groove. I would say the crowds were pretty good all throughout, like obviously not like the New York Marathon, but you know, there were a lot of people there cheering, it was fun. I listened to music on like a low volume with the noise cancellation not turned on so that I could hear the crowds. Like I like the crowds, I like the music, it hypes me up. It's part of the reason that you're running the race, right? I don't want to like just close myself off. And I think it's also good to be able to like hear what's going on around you. But yeah, that was good. Took my first gel and then I kind of had some stomach issues. I didn't stop at all, but I was just getting like cramps. I definitely didn't train a ton with gels in this like training block. I had trained a lot with gels when I was training for my marathon last year, and gels have like never really given me any kind of stomach issues, so I didn't really think that they would now. I don't know if it was like unrelated or related to the gels, but man, right after I took the first gel, I was like, my stomach hurts, but you know, it kept on running and then it felt a little bit better. And when I took my second gel at mile 10, I again like felt a little bit funky, but I don't know. It's hard to tell if it was like from the gels or if I was just pushing myself really, really hard. My heart rate throughout this entire race was incredibly high, which that does happen when I'm really pushing myself, but man, oh man, you could really see it catching up to me in miles 10 to miles 13. Like honestly, before mile 10, I feel like I was keeping pretty good pace, but the straightaway at the end is good and bad. Like it's good that you don't have to turn, but it's bad because it's kind of boring. And then the straightaway was like slowly uphill and then slowly downhill. And I just feel like the like rolling hills were not doing anything for me. I'm glad that there wasn't any like huge uphill, but yeah, I just feel like I was really counting down for the race to end. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have 20 minutes left. Like just got to do this for 20 more minutes and we will finish. Also, another thing to note is at the beginning when you're going through Prospect Park, there's a couple points where you are like seeing more runners come the other way. So either you're in front of them or you're behind them. And I actually really like that. We had that in the LA Marathon at the end. It was an out and back. And that was miserable because everybody was tired and like dying, and it was really demotivating to like see the people like walking and like looking really tired and being like, oh my gosh, they're 8 miles ahead of me. Like, and I already feel bad. So I did not like that in the LA Marathon. Here I liked it a lot more because it was at the beginning. So people were like hyped and running fast. And yeah, I thought it was like pretty good vibes. So I did like that, but I feel like that was like my favorite part of the race. And then the straightaway was quite boring. The other thing is like right around mile 5, there was a pretty big hill. But besides that, it was mostly downhill or like very slight incline uphill. So for the most part, I don't think the like race elevation itself was a problem. And then right on the end, you go on the boardwalk and you probably run on the boardwalk for like, I don't know, 400 meters max, but it's definitely cool. Like Coney Island is iconic in New York. I have been there before, but if you haven't, like it's a cool place to end. You know, lots of rides. You can get Nathan's hot dogs. But we ended the race and my official time was 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 13 seconds, which I'm very happy with. The only other half marathon I've ever run was the Long Beach Half Marathon in 2021, and my time was 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 54 seconds. So I feel like shaving off 5 minutes is pretty good, especially for a half marathon, and especially because I didn't have like a super intense training plan. So I am happy with the results. I just kind of wonder, like, do I sign up for another half marathon now and try to get my time down even more? I'm not sure if I could realistically get it down a lot more. I actually think a lot of the 5 minutes that I see improvement in this half marathon is because I use gels, and I did not use gels in my last half marathon. So I don't know, the jury's still out on this one. And I also feel like this like race path, although the elevation wasn't bad, it wasn't like the most interesting thing ever. I am not sure what I'm going to do next year. I don't know if I would race this race again. It is kind of a pain to get to from the Upper East Side. Like, you have to go to Prospect Park in the morning, which is not the worst. But the Coney Island to the Upper East Side is like over an hour long subway at the end. It is nice that you don't have to transfer at all, but like it is a long distance from my apartment. I did sign up for this race after not getting into the half marathon in Manhattan that runs in March. So we'll see next year. It wasn't a bad race, but I don't think it was like an amazing race. And I definitely felt a couple minutes of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, I'm working so hard. But overall, I am like fairly proud of myself for holding my pace. Definitely faster at the beginning and slower at the end, but less of a gap than my original half marathon. So I feel like it was a successful run, and truly the weather was absolutely amazing. We were so lucky, especially because rain was in the forecast for so long. It did not rain at all. It was the perfect temperature. Short sleeve was great. So I can be really thankful for that, because if it was raining yesterday, I would have been significantly less happy. Then when you end, you like can go, they, hand out a little goodie bag. It had water, Gatorade, apple pretzel. That was really nice. There were porta potties to use in like this like runners only area. And then you went out into the baseball field that's right there to meet up with your friends and family. I had like very, very, very limited service. Like, it was very hard. I was like turning my phone on airplane mode and off of it to like try to reconnect. And thankfully I'd gotten a text through to Chris to be like, oh, meet at the Q bleachers, because each like bleacher section had a letter, so we could meet up. But keep that in mind. Maybe have a plan with your like family, friends, whoever's coming to see you afterwards, to meet up at a specific spot, because the internet was very, very spotty. And then from the spectator side tips, Chris definitely had some issues getting down to Coney Island. I do feel bad for him. It takes around an hour and like 10 minutes, so he left at 7:40. But everybody got kicked off his train at Times Square, and then he had to like wait for the next queue that, only runs every half hour. So he got there at like 9:40, and I'm like, yeah, like he completely missed my finish, which is totally fine. Like, he was trying to come. But if you're a spectator, maybe like keep that in mind, that you should account for delays. If you really want to see whoever finished, like, you just gotta come really early. And the crowds at the end on Coney Island were really cool. Another thing that was really nice about this event was that there were very clear mile markers for every single mile, for 5, 10, 15, 20K, for 200 meters left in the race. Like, everything was set up and very clear. It was a very well organized event. I never felt like, oh wow, like what's happening? The biggest thing was starting so late after the start time, but I think I just haven't run like that big of a race recently that I like didn't expect it to be 15 minutes after the race start. But besides that, it was a good race. I did see like some complaints about bag check, but really I can't speak to that. I think like obviously sometimes you have to do bag check, but if you can get away with it, like just don't deal with bag check. And then we left and I came home and we ate some really good food to recover from my race. Overall, it was a fun experience. It was a cool like first New York race. I really don't know what I'm gonna do from here. I gotta like think about it. Obviously, I'm not doing the New York Marathon this year, but something to always keep in mind. That is a bucket list item for me. And if you ran this race, I hope you did well. Let me know what you think. That is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.